9:18 a.m. on November 19th, 2015, and the harvesting equipment is showing up at this field on the Ridgeview Farm in Champlain. And they've got a game plan apparently. They're attacking from both sides of the field. Very strong wind today. Temperature is mild, temperature in the 50s, but extremely strong winds from the south with an easterly slant. Former Ridgeview Farm, dairy farm. Now part of the Giroux's poultry empire. They grow a lot of corn. They've got a lot of birds to feed. That long truck you saw that went by a minute ago, that's bringing the corn to Shazy, the kernels of corn. A little shaky here, but bear with us. I guess that's as far as we can zoom in. That's the yellow you see up there. That's kernels of corn. The yellow you see at the center of the truck, of the the harvester. And this tractor is coming along as soon as that wagon is filled. They will switch. Again, we're a little shaky here. Looks like they're ready to leave that wagon and get another one. And I don't know if I can get the leaves flying by me here. But a lot of strong wind today. That's why we're seated inside my vehicle instead of being out there in Mother Nature. Again, even though it's a little over 50 degrees temperature, wind makes it very uncomfortable out there. And the other what's happening there. Looks like they fill up what they've got with them, and then they empty it into that wagon. This one here is probably waiting for that first one to move so it can continue. More harvesting equipment is heading out. The other side of those trees is the southbound lane of the Adirondack Northway, Route 87. Now what do we got over here? Looks like they're filling up one of those long trucks out of this one. So they're emptying this wagon or cart and putting it into the long truck, which will take it to Chazy. And now back to cutting with this one. And in the meantime, the other one is emptying its load into that big wagon. And another one ready to start cutting, and behind them it's a wagon that'll be transporting the kernels back and forth. Again, pay no attention to my jumpy this here. This one here is still unloading. All they're interested in is the kernels of corn. Corn stalks will pretty much stay right where they are. And this one here will start cutting now. Windshield is dirty, so we'll take a chance anyway here. There's the lead one. It's making a lot of dust on its own. When they plant it, they have the harvesting part of it in mind. Next one's coming around the corner. You may not be able to cut coming in this direction. I think there's only that one wide swath that's planted in rows going from north-south. The rest are all east-west rows. Again, November 19th, 2015. Well, this guy's coming this way too. So apparently there's at least another swath here that's planted in the north-south rows. A few years ago I recorded this, and I think I speculated in what the pioneers who first cleared this land would have thought. They could see how corn was being harvested in the 21st century. He's emptying his load and might even be continuing to cut as they go. Once the path has been cleared a little wider, they can do that. The initial, although east-west, a north-south cut coming on here. Once they make that initial path through there, then there's room for the tractor with the wagon to come alongside. Case IH. Hope the folks at Dragoon's Farm Equipment are watching. Looks like this guy's going to go unload here. And we have another wagon that's full. Heading back. Trucks carrying the corn back and forth. There's also other equipment in the field to the north of here that's been working, so some of those trucks are heading to that field where there's equipment out there. This is not all the equipment involved. There's probably twice as many pieces of equipment involved in the northern side of the barn. Kind of contrast this with the Champlain Valley Antique Gas Engine Club's plow day, and look at their 1 and 2 furrow plows. Compare it with this modern day equipment and the size of the tractors. This one here is able to go around in circles. Another tractor coming to get rid of its load of corn. Again, only the kernels, only the yellow kernels. Aren't interested in eating the green, formerly green stalks of corn, like cattle might make part of their diet. Looks like this fella here is making a new path rather than go all the way around. I would imagine all this is laid out in some game plan so that you don't have half a dozen or more guys out there cutting and just going willy-nilly. They have a battle plan before they arrive. Start to unload here. Not sure who's going to have the right of way. We got somebody approaching from our right. Look at that wind blow. That's why I'm not outside. Shaking my car even. Not sure how many rows they can take. Looks like to be 8 or 10 rows wide. There you go. Feel free to count at home when it comes out as to how many rows of corn he's cutting. Counting 9 or 10. I'll back up and get this little patch that's left here. Watching Drew's poultry harvesting at the Ridgeview Farm in Champlain. November 19th, 2015. 9:46 right now. I believe it was around 9:18 when we put our camera on. Windy day in the North Country. Dragoons farm equipment vehicle that just drove by us. And I'm going to have to switch batteries here. This camera's losing power faster than it should be, so as interesting as this is, I'm going to have to shut off and find a new battery. We have one of the corn hauling trucks that is full and is exiting. Driving by in front of us in a moment. And there's one being filled and another one in line, ready to go. All this Dragoons equipment got me so excited, I went and got my Dragoons farm equipment 60th anniversary hat from a couple of years ago. Everyone should have one of those. Looks like another one is loaded up and going by. A good comparison would be to dig out one of our visits to Babi Rural and Farm Museum in Peru. And when we went there on one of their harvest days, we were there about a month or so ago. And you can see how this was done 60 and 70 years ago. And the bride and I drove through the back up by Ellenberg Center, where there are a couple of Amish farms. And there was some stooped corn out there. Back when I was a kid, the corn cutter would come, bundle maybe a dozen stalks of corn, toss it aside, and then if you had good drying weather you didn't have to stook it, but they were stooking it in Ellenberg. But you'd come along and generally there'd be a work bee, different farmers getting together and helping each other, going from one farm to the other in the course of a week or two. And men would go out there and pitch the corn into a wagon, bring that wagon to the silo, and it would be chopped and blown into the silo. And that's where you had the ensilage. No ensilage here, this is all just grabbing the kernels. Excuse the camera work here as relocating. Just grabbing the kernels, the stalks are left in the field, and they'll come through with wheel harrows and further chop the stalks up, and it'll be compost for next year's crop. All they're interested in is the kernels of corn. So the cobs and all the other stuff is left here in the field. And of course, once in a while you leave a little bit of corn in there too, kernels of corn. And when this is done earlier in the year, you get a lot more geese coming through. Might be a few geese left at this late November day. A lot of big equipment that's only used for this one purpose. Tractors you can use year round, but this harvesting equipment, it's the only time of the year it's used. That wagon's full. Can't imagine that he'd go all the way around instead of turning around and coming back. Looks like they counted exactly right when they started that new swath through there. Had just enough rows. So it looks like that wagon that left, it was just waiting for the harvester to pick up some more corn. Now he's turning around and coming back. This is what's left after they go through. And again, it'll be chopped up after the wheel harrows come through. And that usually happens immediately after the corn is taken off. In fact, that's what they're doing right there. They don't waste any time when they attack a field. They attack it. Now 10:12. Slightly under an hour, and there's not much left to do here in this field, so we're going to wrap it up and just a look at what happens in harvesting in the year 2015. And once again, we've been at Ridgeview Farm on the Ridge Road in Champlain, part of the Drew's Poultry Farm. And this is November 19th, and we started this recording 55 minutes ago, and there won't be much longer before they're completely done this field and moving on to the next one. Thanks for watching.